The other day, I heard something in Spanish I have never heard before, and I've been learning Spanish for 10 years. I read this email that says, Durante la semana me es complicado porque trabajo hasta las 8 de lunes a jueves. ¿Me es complicado? What? Me es complicado. This sounds absolutely horrible, and I couldn't believe that a native Spanish speaker had said this to me. So, being the confused gringo that I was, I immediately asked my best friend to confirm that this was in fact real. What? I'm serious, like, what is going on? I have never heard this. So then I thought to myself, how have I never noticed this? Well, here's why. The first reason is that most times people will say para mí in this example. So for example, instead of saying me es fácil hablar en español, we can just say es fácil para mí hablar español. That sounds way more natural to me, and I would probably 99% of the time hear that instead of me es fácil hablar en español. You could also use the phrase se me hace, I find it, se me hace fácil hablar en español. How I never noticed this in Spanish, I don't know, but I have a feeling it's because I wasn't watching enough Lingo Pai. Lingo Pai is the Netflix of language learning. You literally watch TV and movies and learn a language. It's actually amazing. And they have more than 3,000 shows and movies on their platform. You know how you're watching a TV show or movie in Spanish and you have to literally just be sitting there on your phone translating? Well, not anymore, because you just go on Lingo Pai and you can see the subtitles right there. You can click on them and then get this. They add it to a flashcard set. Then you can go back and study the flashcards. You can take quizzes on the new words and phrases you're learning. You can even play games. It's seriously amazing. You can slow down the movies and shows that you're watching so you can easier understand. Did I mention that you can also listen to the new words and phrases that you're learning? Say them and it will correct you on your pronunciation. Not only is Lingo Pai really helpful, but it's also just really fun. Who wouldn't want to learn a language by watching TV? Lingo Pai offers a 7-day free trial plus a special discount when you click the link in the description. So after doing some investigating, I've realized that what's going on is we're using indirect object pronouns and the verb ser. So essentially in these examples, ser is behaving like a verb such as gustar or preocupar. So for example, me gusta manejar or me preocupa su comportamiento. Gusta is being conjugated into the third person singular, so the él, ella, usted form. So now we're doing the same exact thing with the verb ser. So we would say me es fácil ser being conjugated into the third person singular. Now, this just sounds so weird to me, but I was literally just at a coffee shop and I asked a native Spanish speaker sitting next to me who just happened to be a Spanish teacher. And I said, is this correct? She said, yes, this makes sense. In fact, I say it when I send reports to my students. So for example, we could say, le es difícil entender las instrucciones. You could also say, es difícil para él, para ella, para usted entender las instrucciones. You could also say, se le hace difícil entender las instrucciones. But technically, le es difícil entender las instrucciones is correct. This would simply translate to, it is difficult for him or her or usted, you, to understand the instructions. Next example, nos es complicado bailar salsa. This is so weird, but it is technically correct. You could also say, es complicado para nosotros bailar salsa, or se nos hace complicado bailar salsa. This is probably the most important example of all of these. Me es triste que todavía no eres parte de mi Fluent Spanish Speaker Academy. I'm seriously gonna cry. Please join. We can become friends. Maybe hug? Abrazo? I don't know. And the final example, te es estresante manejar en la carretera. Te es estresante, which just sounds so weird. But you can also say, es estresante para ti manejar en la carretera. Or, se te hace estresante manejar en la carretera. Which 9 out of 10 times I would use the para ti example. Now, once I realized that this was a real thing in the Spanish language, I asked myself, is there a difference? So if I said para ti instead of te es, is it different? And the answer is no. The only different thing going on here is the formality. So to say te es complicado versus es complicado para ti, te es complicado is a bit more formal, whereas es complicado para ti is much less formal. Now, the next question I had was, which is used more? And the reality is that 9 out of 10 times native Spanish speakers will use a prepositional phrase like para ti or para él instead of the blank es complicado. So if you're learning Spanish and you've never heard of this and you've never used this, don't worry, because most times native Spanish speakers do not use this idea. Yes, they do use it, but it's much more formal and is much less common to see. Instead, try using a prepositional phrase like para ti, para él, para mí, or something along the lines of se me hace, I find it, or se te hace, se les hace, you find it or they find it, blah, blah, blah. I cannot believe that I didn't know that this existed in the Spanish language, but now I know, and now hopefully you know and understand how to use this concept in Spanish. Muchas gracias por ver el video. If you want to become conversationally fluent in Spanish as fast as possible, check out the Fluent Spanish Speaker Academy. Here's what some of our current members have to say. I went to Mexico in November to finally meet my girlfriend that I had been talking to for over a year. Your videos helped me improve my Spanish so I could talk with her family when I stayed with them. We stand behind our program with a 30-day full refund policy. If you're not happy within 30 days, we'll give you your money back, no questions asked. To find out if the Academy is right for you, click the link on the screen or in the description below.